Benny Andersson. Forget the glitz, the disco balls, and the wild costumes for a second. Let's talk about the real stuff, the exhaustion, the heartbreak, and the silence that lingered long after the music stopped. Today, you're going to hear the truth, the kind of truth that can only come after decades of keeping quiet. Before anyone had even heard the first notes of Dancing Queen or felt chills from The Winner Takes It All, Benny was already crafting the heart and soul of what would soon take over the world. Born in Stockholm back in 1946, Benny didn't grow up dreaming of sold-out arenas. He came from a regular, working-class family. Music wasn't some career dream, it was just a tradition, passed down like an old recipe. His dad was an engineer, his granddad a self-taught accordion player. So picture little Benny, 6 years old, learning the accordion in a crowded apartment, completely hooked by the magic of sound. But here's the twist, he wasn't obsessed with fame. He just wanted to figure out how music worked. That's it. He'd listen to Bach, he'd pick apart Swedish folk tunes, and before he was even a teenager, he could play anything he heard. No sheet music needed. Family parties? School concerts? He was the shy kid at the piano, always listening, always experimenting. And it wasn't about showing off, it was about the feeling, the tone, the emotion. Fast forward to 18-year-old Benny. He jumps into a band called the Hep Stars, and suddenly, things change overnight. With Benny on board, the band, think of them as the Swedish Beatles, starts churning out chart-topping hits. Benny's writing the songs, playing keys, basically becoming the brains of the operation. And while everyone else is dreaming of being a star, Benny's figuring out how the whole machine works, production, arrangement, even the business side. Then, everything shifts at a random party in 1966. Benny meets a guy named Bjorn. Both of them are musicians, both obsessed with harmony, both perfectionists in their own way. They jam together, and the rest is history. These two start writing nonstop, trying every style under the sun, even making music for other Swedish artists. If Benny was the heart, Bjorn was the brains, together, they balanced each other out perfectly. Now, throw two powerhouse singers into the mix, Agnetha, a Swedish solo pop star, and Annie Frid, call her Frida, a jazz singer with a voice you don't forget. All four get together, and yeah, their first group name was a mouthful, nothing catchy, but the music was electric. They miss out on Eurovision in 1973, but they don't quit. Nope. Next year, they come back with Waterloo, and BAM. They win the whole thing. Overnight, they're international stars, and they finally pick a name the world will remember forever, ABBA. From there, things get wild. Benny isn't just writing songs, he's building entire worlds. He layers sounds like a painter mixes colors, gets lost in harmonies, and brings in synths when nobody else is even thinking about it. He's the perfectionist, sometimes driving the rest of the band crazy with how long he'll work on a single note. But he doesn't care about what's hot, he cares about what lasts. While the others are dazzling crowds in wild outfits and cranking out catchy lyrics, Benny's digging deeper, pouring something almost secret into every track. That's why you feel that weird ache in ABBA songs, the joy on the surface, the heartbreak underneath. That's pure Benny. But here's where it gets real. As ABBA gets bigger, behind the scenes, things start cracking. It's not one dramatic explosion, it's the slow fade, like a beautiful building starting to crumble. In 1979, Bjorn and Agnetha's marriage falls apart. The band keeps working, but something's different. The music is still gorgeous, but there's a heaviness in the air. 2 years later, Benny and Frida, whose relationship was always intense, always creative, also split. It's not ugly, but it's devastating. Frida once said Benny got her in a way no one else ever did. But perfection in the studio didn't mean happiness at home. Benny, obsessed with the work, couldn't be there in the way Frida needed. By 1981, Benny's fallen for someone else, a TV producer named Mona. He's honest about it, but it tears a hole in what's left of the band. Their last album, The Visitors, sounds icy, introspective, almost haunted. Every song is dripping with things left unsaid. The band limps along for one more year, but it's obvious, they're done. But ABBA doesn't go out with a bang. There's no farewell concert, no dramatic press conference. They just disappear. Their last single barely makes a dent. There's no big goodbye, just a slow, silent fade. For years, nobody explains why. Rumors swirl. Was it the money? Was it the marriages? Did they just get tired? Interviews stay vague, the word hiatus is tossed around, but nobody gives a straight answer. ABBA becomes a myth, perfect, mysterious, untouchable. That all changed not too long ago. Out of nowhere, Benny Andersson, the quiet genius, sits down for a rare interview and finally just says it. No drama. No scandal. Just the truth, we were exhausted. The marriages were crumbling, the music was losing its spark, and they were all just too tired to fake it anymore. That one line cuts deeper than any tabloid story. All those years of rumors, and the real answer was just plain old human burnout. He opens up even more in another interview, talking about those last 2 years. He says it felt like punching a clock, not making music. The spark was gone, and everyone felt it. The songs came slower, the joy was missing, and eventually, they all realized, pretending was worse than quitting. Now, if you've ever listened to those last ABBA songs and thought, man, something's different here, you were right. There's a sadness, a heaviness, a feeling like you're eavesdropping on a breakup. And that's because you are. Benny confirms what so many fans have felt for years, the ache in those songs was real. It wasn't a performance. It was 4 people barely holding it together. But here's the beautiful part. Benny never blames anyone. He doesn't throw shade at Bjorn, Agnetha, or Frida. He just says it ran its course. They gave everything they had, and when there was nothing left, they stepped away. That simple honesty is the closure fans didn't even know they needed. The mystery is gone, but the humanity makes it even more legendary. And what about Frida? Her story takes an even wilder turn. After ABBA fades away, she marries into European royalty. Seriously, she becomes a princess. But if you think that's a fairy tale, think again. Frida never fit into the royal mold. The rules, the expectations, the endless events, it just wasn't her. And then, tragedy strikes. In 1998, her daughter dies in a car crash. The grief is unimaginable. She disappears from the world, mourning in a quiet home by a Swiss lake. All the fame, all the royal glitz, it means nothing compared to that loss. But here's the twist that'll get you, Benny reaches out. Despite everything, the heartbreak, the years apart, he's there for her. Not to relive the glory days, but because they share something nobody else could ever understand. The connection isn't about music anymore, it's about surviving all that pain together. Now, fast forward. For decades, people dream of an ABBA comeback. Nobody thinks it'll ever happen. Then, out of nowhere in 2018, the impossible, the 4 of them get back in the studio. 2 new songs, and suddenly, the music world explodes. But they don't stop there. They drop a whole new album, and then launch this mind-blowing project, a digital concert experience where their younger selves, brought to life with wild tech, perform for packed crowds in London. People from all over the world fly in. The show sells over 1 million tickets, and they even turn down $1 billion tour offer. Why? Because they don't need the old high. They've already changed the world, and now they're rewriting the rules on their terms. And through it all, Benny's still the craftsman, still sweating every detail, still making sure the sound is perfect, because for him, it was never about being seen. It was about what you felt when you heard those songs. Now, at 78, Benny's finally letting the walls down. In interviews, he admits music was his escape. He never knew how to talk about his pain, so he turned it into melodies instead. He once said, "I gave my best lines to songs, not to the people who needed to hear them." Think about that. It wasn't that he didn't feel things, he just didn't know how to say them. So now, as the quiet man at the piano finally lets us into his world, the story comes full circle. What do you think? If ABBA had faced their emotions head-on instead of hiding behind the songs, would their music sound any different? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, hit that like if this story moved you, and don't forget to subscribe for more true tales from music's hidden corners. Who knows? The next legend we uncover might be one you've never seen coming.